A 4-year-old boy suddenly said something no one in the family had ever mentioned.
You had a baby die in your tummy, didn't you?
That one sentence froze his mom in place, because what he said happened 10 years ago, and only she and her husband knew about it. There was no way her youngest son could know a secret buried for over a decade.
Honey, who told you I had a baby die in my tummy?
She told me she died in your tummy.
She stared into her child's eyes, her heart twisting hard inside her chest.
What does she look like?
Like Cassie, but a little smaller, and hair like yours. In heaven, this little girl came up to me, and she wouldn't stop hugging me.
The pain she had suppressed for years was torn open by her son's words. She remembered the scars she could never face. Shock washed over her, but even more than the shock, she felt overwhelming curiosity.
Honey, what was her name?
She didn't have a name. You guys didn't name her.
In that moment, she couldn't hold back her tears. The baby who never made it into this world had always been her biggest regret. Back then, they didn't even know the baby's gender. It was a love that ended before it even began, a darkness she had buried deep inside. But fate was never gentle with her. Just a week ago, both kids suddenly started vomiting and running a fever. Thankfully, the older sister recovered the next day. But little Colton only got worse, falling into a terrifying coma. The parents were crushed with despair. At the hospital, doctors discovered Colton had a perforated appendix. His condition was critical, he needed immediate surgery. But because he was so young, his vitals kept dropping fast. The doctors told them to prepare for the worst. The news hit them like a hammer to the heart. Especially Todd, who was a pastor, he couldn't accept it.
You've made me suffer. I took that. You made my family suffer, and I took that. You're gonna take my boy?
Miraculously, Colton survived the surgery. But after recovering, Colton started acting strange.
Is something wrong with Colton?
Why do you say that?
Because sometimes he sounds weird. He says Jesus has a horse.
At first, his parents thought he was just making things up, until Colton said that during the surgery, something lifted him up and he floated in the air. He saw the doctors rushing around. He saw his mom crying outside. He even saw his dad venting in anger in the break room. No one ever told him any of that. And then things got even weirder. He said he went to a church. Inside, he saw bright lights and angels. Colton wasn't scared. He calmly admired everything around him. Then a man in a white robe walked toward him.
Colton, you know who I am? You're not afraid.
Nobody here wants to hurt me.
That's right, Colton. And nobody here ever will. There are some people here who want to meet you.
And took his hand, guiding him into the holy light. Todd couldn't sleep after hearing that. He told his wife everything, but she still believed it was just a kid's wild imagination. But Todd knew. A 4-year-old couldn't describe something that real on his own. He went to his closest friend at church and told him Colton's story. But even someone who shared his faith couldn't give him an answer. He also thought it was just a child's fantasy. Todd was torn between faith and reality. One day, while preaching, the doubts buried deep in his heart pushed him to talk about Colton's experience. The congregation erupted in whispers. Someone even stood up and asked if he believed what Colton said. His friend had asked him the same question many times, but this time, Todd couldn't answer, because he knew no one would believe such an unbelievable story. But a reporter in the crowd sensed the hidden news value behind it. The next day, she showed up at Todd's house. She interviewed Colton. Todd also hoped to take this opportunity to clear up his doubts. But things didn't go the way he hoped. Once Colton's story hit the front page, the church higher-ups immediately took notice. They believed Todd was damaging the church's reputation and meaning. Some even thought he was using his son to make up stories for attention. Soon, Todd was suspended from his position. Even his daughter Lucy was bullied at school because of it.
Hey Cassie, did your brother really sit on Jesus' lap? Did he ask for a new bicycle or a magic pony?
But Lucy didn't back down. When the school called Todd afterward,
if you punch somebody, there must have been a good reason for it.
They were making fun of Colton. They made fun about him sitting on Jesus' lap.
the way Lucy defended her family stabbed him in the heart. Trying to find answers, Todd asked Colton what Jesus looked like. Colton described him in incredible detail, but none of the pictures in the church books matched.
This?
No, Jesus has light eyes.
That night, Todd couldn't sleep. He started researching online, but every search result pointed to psychological or medical explanations. He forced himself to step away from the search and face reality. He met with the church leaders and admitted that maybe Colton's story was just a child's imagination. Eventually, he got his job back, but then Colton said something that shocked him again.
You had a grandpa named Pop, right?
That's right.
Was he your daddy's daddy or your mommy's daddy?
He was my mom's dad. He died when I was about your age.
He's very nice.
Todd froze. His father had passed away years earlier, and the family had never talked about him since. There was no way Colton could have invented any details about him. To test it, Todd showed him an old photo of his grandfather, but Colton shook his head. He said that wasn't him. The grandpa he saw was younger and didn't wear glasses. Todd rushed to the storage room and found a long-forgotten box. Inside was a photo of his grandfather when he was young.
That's him. That's Pop. In heaven, everybody's young.
At that moment, Todd's long-held understanding of faith completely collapsed. Only then did he realize his son's words were not wild fantasies at all. But what broke him down and healed him again was what happened next. One day, Colton suddenly asked his mom if she'd ever had a miscarriage, because he saw a little girl in heaven. The girl had the same hair color as his mom. They didn't speak, but with just one shared look, Colton felt the blood connection between them. These words were like a thunderclap that resounded through the sky. Ellie froze instantly. Before this, she had harbored doubts about Colton's past experiences, but at this moment, all her doubts vanished. This secret, known only to the couple and God, has now been confirmed through their son's words, and the scars she had buried deep in her heart for many years, which she dared not touch, were finally healed.
That's our baby. It's our little girl.
It wasn't about being healed, but about being completely accepted. This wasn't something science could explain. Perhaps this is love. And Todd finally understood. Faith isn't dogma. It isn't buildings. It isn't strict rules. True faith is love. It's the moment you're understood, the moment you're accepted, the warmth when two souls draw near. Later, Todd saw a news story about a girl who had the exact same experience as Colton. She painted the Jesus she saw. Todd rushed to get Colton to look.
Colton? You okay?
That's him.